Did you ever run into AOC while you were doing bartending?
AOC was one of my bar wives.
I was making a complete joke.
No, we used to work together.
Why the fuck you ain't tell me this?
Crazy.
Welcome back to your beloved Black-owned broadcast, Harlem's very own, featuring, as always, your three vivacious co-hosts. Speaking first, it's Justin K. Winley, a.k.a. King Colgate, a.k.a. The Great Improviser, joined by my boys.
Yo, what's up? It's Escobar Excalibur, a.k.a. the Sauna Shogun, a.k.a. Sinbad Stefanucci, a.k.a. the Witchy Bitch Feet Sweeper.
Oh, my.
The witchy
I sweep the witchy broads off their feet.
Got it.
Wow.
Yeah. You proud of that?
Sir.
Nah.
You thought you ate that? You thought you ate
Not anymore, yo. Not anymore. They cast a couple spells on me, yo. That shit was crazy.
You got to drop that house on him like Dorothy did. Drop
That's
that house.
crazy. Nah, I just hit him with a tornado.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
right.
And our third mic.
Oh, hello everybody. It's your boy Ahmad Simmons.
I
I ain't got no AKAs today. No, I'm just trying to make sure. What? I'm just trying to be nice because we have a lovely guest coming in today, and she's right across from me, and I don't want to.
Be nice.
I want to be.
behaving.
I am being on my best behavior to be like, God damn! And after that, you know. But I'm
Alcohol does a reverse on Ahmad.
Sorry, there is no alcohol in this podcast right now. It is only juice.
The church
I
listen to
can't
you?
even spell
The
alcohol.
church, listen, the church, that's a different story. Grape juice.
Grape juice.
It is communion today, okay? It's
Don't do
communion
that.
today.
A couple of grape sodas.
Listen.
Anywho, we're not
Hello,
talking
people.
about religion today. We are back with another HVO feature. And our featured guest today is a multimedia artist with widespread roots in Colombia, Jamaica, Queens, and all across our fair city, from which she constantly draws inspiration to create vibrant, singular pieces that capture and reflect the spirits of the communities for which they are commissioned.
Yes.
Whether she's painting 7-story murals or leading painting workshops, she never does anything with less than 100% of herself. So I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Janina Gutierrez, also known as Gia, also known as Ghost Pepper.
Oh,
Ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper.
It's that kind of shit that hits you in the back of your throat when you least expect it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Good
I bet
Lord.
there's a
That
story
low,
behind
that low key spice, yeah, there is a story.
When that Dorito piece just be back there.
Just let you stay there. Just let you stay there. It could be something she said or something she do.
Bring a little
just-
tear to your eye.
Good Lord.
That Denzel tear from Glory.
And it just lets you remember what the fuck just happened that moment. That's where you is, G. Golly. I'm saying my AKA at the end, goddammit. Fuck that.
There we go. I took it out. I took her out today.
How many unopened Tinder messages have you left? In
I have.
that AKA.
I can proudly say I have no Tinder.
Very good.
All right now.
Very good.
She don't do that.
I mean, you know, I don't. I mean, I say proudly because I just.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, if you use Tinder, whatever, good for you, not good for you, we don't care.
50% of them niggas is married.
That's a new statistic just came out.
That new
Facts.
statistic is
That's
crazy.
wild.
Facts.
50
Complex
is
did a
crazy.
study.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So I tried a dating app once.
Which one?
Hinge.
That's a good one. That's a goodie. I got
Hinge is
mad
a
success
That
off
was
of that.
supposed to be like the like they out there.
It's like the grown-up app.
The grown up
Allegedly.
And I work a lot, so I'm not really hanging out like that. So I was like, all right, let's see what this is about. And it was like everyone was married in this open relationship, and I'm like, does your wife know about that?
They do.
They do.
And the husbands definitely do. The women who are looking for dudes. The
I
husbands
was
definitely
like,
do.
delete,
Shout out to you,
delete,
Adam
delete.
22. But again, not what we're here to talk about.
Wow.
Wes is on the couch waiting for us to bring it up. No. That'll be for our news episode after this.
Yes.
So, Gia, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to give you a chance before we open up with questions to just introduce yourself a bit. And you have a special connection to our co-host here, Jude.
This big sis over here.
Yeah.
So, who are you? How'd you get in this apartment? Who are you literally? I don't recognize you.
All right. Yeah. Well, good to see you, new human. So I'm known as Gia. I've been I'm from Colombia, and I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. And I've been living in Harlem for about 20 years now.
Wow.
And Jude, my dude, this is my El Barrio East Harlem homie. Yes. I've known Jude since, how old were you?
I was like 12 or 13.
You were like 12 or 13. And
that's when Harley's opened.
Yep. And I was, I supported myself throughout my whole art career. Basically, I was like self-taught artist. Not at all supported by my family. And I've been on my own since I was like 19. And I got into bartending. I got into Pratt, and I was like going to school full time, bartending full time, doing the thing. And I ended up in East Harlem, and I was bartending, and I was good friends with Marissa, Jude's mom. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
We love you.
Love you, Mom.
Much power to Marissa. But Jude used to come over to my apartment, and Marissa saw how things were, and and she was just very passionate, especially about women's rights and how women were being treated in the workplace. And she was like, I want to pay you to give Jude painting lessons. So Jude the dude used to come over, and we would do painting lessons. You would hang out with the cats and the turtles.
Yeah, shouts to the cats and the turtles. Yeah, man.
Jude,
yeah,
Jude
man.
Good times.
I was painting. Yeah, it's my dogs right here.
And then one time, then Marissa came over, and I got your mom really stoned. And then we were dying, and we were talking so much trash, and then she was like, oh my God, I gotta get Jude. Like one of the best memories. But yeah, like I've been a local artist, and I fly out. Like I have a lot of work in PR. I've been doing some work in Miami, in LA, and now this coming year, like more worldwide. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm just excited to create, and also like a big part of my practice is working with the community.
Yeah.
And making sure that like people feel seen and feel heard, and they feel part of the process, because we live in a city that's like always evolving.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily take into account the people that have been existing here.
Yeah, and so on that note, the pitch that Jude gave us for why we should have you on the show is, I wasn't exaggerating, the 7-story mural that is currently hanging over Harlem Tavern on 116th, in the corner of Frederick Douglass, for Stella Artois.
Yeah.
A beautiful piece. I've seen it, all the years that it's been up, but it never occurred to me that I would one day be sitting next to the artist. So could you talk us through the process of creating that mural? I'm curious about it from the literal, like practical level of making something that huge. Anytime I see a big piece on the side of a building like that, that's where my mind goes. But also like how you got in contact with them, and what it's like to even work with the city to create something like that.
Yeah, it was, I'll preface everything by saying that experience was one of like the first big lessons, and like, wow, like you really reap what you sow. That wasn't anything I applied for. I literally got called because people from the FDBA, from the Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance, 2 of those members remembered me from East Harlem doing all these murals for free and working with the community. Wow. And they saw me growing in my practice, and they were like, we know a muralist from Harlem that can do this. And I literally got the phone call, and it was like, I still get chills. It was like 2 weeks before Christmas. I was like, what?
Wow.
In the height of COVID.
In the height of COVID.
That's crazy.
And then they were like, you have 1 week to design it. And I was like, and then they were like, okay, so we have like 4 nights to boogie. And I got like it was obviously like a corporate, Stella's corporate.
Yeah.
But what they did at the height of the pandemic, that part of that mural was that they donated all these outdoor seating, like heated igloos to all the restaurants on Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, yeah.
To support hospitality. And I supported myself in hospitality. I supported my art career through hospitality for 18 years. I bartended in New York City for 18 years.
Wow.
Bartending at night, doing art during the day, hustling.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like a very full circle experience.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I read in the information about the piece that it was also meant to highlight a lot of the service workers, so hospitality, but also the medical workers, first responders.
Yep.
So I'm sure that felt great to work on something like that. So like, what is it like? Do you get up on a giant ladder and you start like painting one brick at a time, or do you have a team? Like, what's the?
And the other lovely part was that, I had enough budget I needed a team.
Yeah.
And I was able to hire my dear friends that are also amazing muralists from Harlem. I was able to put some money in their pocket, put some work in their hands. And it was the first time I was ever up in a crane, but it's so liberating up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Oh, it's liberating. It's liberating.
I
And it was tough, it's not for the weak. Like there's something, you have to be slightly masochistic to do this kind of work, because it hurts. Yeah. And then it's difficult sometimes, and you're like,
Your shoulders are fired.
Yeah,
and you can only see the piece that you're doing at that time. Even if you have it in your head, you don't know.
The scope is so big that you can't concentrate on you're like, just this area and the next one, and let's keep going. And but you just there's something so satisfying. I remember when it was finished and we were done. I came home. It was like 6 a.m. and I just like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's incredible. And I mean, just to give our audience an idea, prolific is definitely the word. To even take a glance through your website, I mean, there's hardly a neighborhood in New York that your art isn't in. East Harlem, Queens, the Bronx, all over the city. Have you found that there's a particular borough or neighborhood that you keep returning to? Do you kind of just, wherever the wind blows is where you'll go?
Harlem is my world. Like, Harlem is my playground. Harlem is where...
Period.
Harlem. Harlem is where I artistically grew up, and I've developed such a family and such a support system here.
Yeah.
So any opportunity here, paid or not, like, I'm down with it. Like, I've worked at women's shelters in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, this summer has me busy in Brooklyn, so I'm out in Bed-Stuy. I'm out in Bushwick this summer.
Gotcha.
I had a wall coming up soon.
Did you have anything to do with the Exonerated 5 mural? That's
No.
not okay. That wasn't you. That's a beautiful piece, though.
Yeah, that is a really beautiful piece. There's so much beautiful work everywhere, and just seeing. I've been in this game for a long time, and just over the years and the progression, like, just from like I grew up like where I had a lot of older graffiti friends, and I still have like a wide range of different artist friends.
Yeah.
But just seeing the support for art in general, like seeing graffiti in museums now, and seeing like the support for street art, and businesses employing art versus like advertising.
Especially after what happened to 5 Points.
Yeah, that was tragic.
What was that, 10 years ago now?
Is it been that long?
Has to be.
I think
something
longer,
like that.
probably, yeah. Oh, I remember, it was sad. Like, we were there the next day. It was like a vigil. Like, literally, everyone was just crying. It was just like,
Why'd you do
horrible.
that? Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll open it up. I don't want to
Yeah.
be a mic hog. Gentlemen, any questions?
Is there a medium that you don't really mess with that you would like to get into?
Yeah, you describe yourself as a multimedia artist. So, like, how multi?
One that you haven't done, one that you did a few times and you don't really do it like that, and you like to tap into it more. Any of those?
I've never worked with video, and I flew out of LaGuardia last week, and I got there a little earlier just because I wanted to check out the art installations, and I fell in love with this video piece, and it almost felt like a waterfall, but it was made up of images.
Yeah.
And that really just like, I was like, wow, that's like, because I'm so analog, I'm like, I'm so tactile. I like making things with my hands. But I think it's always great as an artist, as a person in general, to like stretch your muscle.
Yeah.
Go to places that make you feel a little uncomfortable. At least you went there. You know what I mean? At least you can say, it wasn't for me, but like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
I respect that. It's interesting you mentioned LaGuardia Airport because I know you have another piece in JFK.
I do.
Right, that's related to mental health awareness.
Yes.
Could you talk a bit about that?
Absolutely. That was a really, really beautiful process. So last year I worked with, again, full circle. I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, not too far from the airport.
Yeah.
And my father actually worked in that baggage claim when I was growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
All these full circle moments with you.
I know, right? I'm listening. I'm so in tune with, like, I'm like, yes. And yeah, so I was working with this, so it's a clubhouse. So basically a clubhouse, it's not an institute. It's a place where adults living with diagnosed mental illness, they gather, they cook together, they have a garden.
That's wonderful.
They have classes, they have support systems, they have computer classes, like they're on it. And I worked with them for 7 months to develop a mural design that reflected breaking stigmas of mental illness.
Okay.
So my design is basically like two people like sort of made of the universe, right? Because I would just try to project like the idea that like we're all made of stardust.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, like we're all like just cosmic dust. You know, we're just made up of different particles. So some of us are lighter, some of us are redder, some of us are more blue, some of us are more purple.
Some of us are larger.
Exactly. Some of us are smaller. But it was a really, my God, it was just beyond what I expected working of that project. You know, the friends I made, and, you know, just kind of, you know, people assume people like, oh, people with mental illness, they just say crazy, right? But like, no, there's a sensitivity that's so real that was actually more refreshing than talking to like most people nowadays, because it was a brutal honesty. You know, and just kind of people saying like, I hate people looking at me a certain way. So it was really special designing this, and they were so happy with it. And the painting process and all of that was like really intense. But once it went up in the airport, and then they were like, it's official. Like, and it was official, but they said it's permanent.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a good feeling.
Yeah. So I got this tattoo.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that represents.
Yeah.
For the
Where'd you get that?
listeners, it's a plane around her forearm. A plane.
Yeah, it's a plane. I got that in August.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
For someone that is an amazing multimedia artist like you, and I've gone through this for how many years now? What's this year make? Like 20 years?
Yeah, I just turned 40, so thank you.
Clap it up for 40. Clap it up for 40.
Come on.
She'll look a day over 27.
I know that's right. Come on.
I'm out
killer.
here. I'm outside.
Oh, come on now.
Nah, this woman
Come
has.
on now.
I would say like 10% of my
Listen.
taste comes from her.
Oh, yeah?
A solid 10% of my taste comes from her.
Nice.
I told you to choose wisely.
Yeah.
It's the words from the wise right here.
Words from the wise.
The
Words from the wise.
One of the wisest women like I've known. Period.
Yes.
Point of the story.
Oh, thank you.
For you, for being such an amazing artist, I always want to get into the mind of an artist, like your vision. I know it's something that is so generic for someone to ask a certain artist, but it's always been so fascinating to me as to what an artist, someone like you, thinks about on a daily basis, and how you can craft something into a masterpiece. I just want to know.
Oh.
Yeah, and I would add, if I may be so bold as to piggyback on your question.
Hey, I mean, how
like
about
we're in a
this,
college class. Yeah.
Piggyback's alone.
Yes.
Just, again, being multimedia, how is there a process where you have an idea and then you filter, okay, this is how I will represent it in sculpture, on canvas, with oils, with finger painting, or is it rather that it comes as the medium, or how does that work?
I would say so when I was a child, right, and I was self-taught, like art was not like highly encouraged. So I ended up like making stuff with whatever was around. Like if there was construction going on, I would grab like the drywall and I would find things, and then someone gifted me, I didn't even know, it was like a little cheap set of oil paints, and then I figured out how to use oil paint, and I would dilute it with cooking oil. So for me, I've always kind of taken that approach to art, like by any means necessary. And I think when it comes to like the mixed media work, Sometimes I let the material talk to me. Like, I'm like, what do you want to do today?
Yeah, I was about to say, elaborate
You know,
on
like, you know, and like I feel it out. Or like even with painting, sometimes I just like lay colors down. You know, if it's not like a commission or a mural specific thing, like that's a whole different process. But when it's like my personal work, it's just kind of like I have like this whole dialogue with like me and the material.
Yeah.
Whether it's paint, whether it's like wood, whether it's like whatever. I'm just like, okay, like what do we want to do today? How do we want to shift? Do you like that? All right, I'm going to put you down and then kind of see how we feel about this tomorrow. Or sometimes it just comes like, right, like it comes rushing into my head. Like I'll be like sitting on my couch, like, you know, sipping on some scissor. And
Jim Jones?
Come on.
I grew up in the 90s.
Yes.
I said what I said.
Yes. I know that's right.
I was sipping on my scissor and then I'm like, holy shit.
You
Like,
just run.
Yeah, like there's a vision. I'm like, my sketchbook is always on deck and I'm like, there's that vision. You know, and then sometimes it's like
So it'll start with a sketch. Sorry to interrupt, but would it usually start with a sketch once an idea comes?
Usually, sometimes, and then sometimes it's just like off the bat. Like sometimes I pick something up and I'm like, oh, I see it. Somehow, like I see it, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it, but I'll figure out how. And the figuring out how is like been the more fun part.
What is like the challenging question that you have in your head as you're going through that process? Because I know it's like you are finding like what is the what, like what why does this need to be here, like what is like a certain thing that always pops in your head that makes it a little difficult at times. Because I know, you know, when it comes to a certain piece, we like to take breaks, and then we come back to it. Is it just like what is missing on this one?
Sometimes, like usually, like I go in like I just don't even think about it. I have challenged myself over the past year to do more portrait work.
Okay.
Why portraits?
Because it challenges me, and I've only specifically painted portraits of very specific people that I look up to. So there's like a list. So I'm gonna be building a small body of work of that. But it's been a good, again, stretching that muscle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do it.
We three admire you. We four admire you. So
Thank you.
it could be like a time where it might be the magazine cover of Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Dr. Dre, and who was it?
Suge Knight?
Suge Knight.
What?
What's his Suge Knight?
Oh shit!
Where we all four and dressed in black turtlenecks.
I love it.
You're the lightest one
I
here.
love it.
You're the lightest one.
He's the lightest one. Oh shit!
Nigga, you have a fucking beard and you're light skinned.
And you got the glasses. He got the glasses.
Your haircut right now.
He got the glasses, yo. He got the glasses.
He got the glasses.
Nah, I think that's Pac.
He
Pac
just.
Don't make me pull up the picture.
Justin is Tupac in this situation.
Am I?
Yeah, you. I mean, I would say you're Dr. Dre, but you look more like Pac because you got facial hair, and I don't. You are. You're Lady of Rage.
Lady of Red. Ooh.
This is Jude.
All he gotta do is put a little Tyler Perry beard on him, and then just make it snappy.
Fuck you.
That's crazy. The Suge Knight biopic starring Jude Steffers-Wilson.
Yes.
First and only role.
Wins
Wins an Oscar and then retires
I'm just hanging
off that.
Timothy Chalamet as Vanilla Ice off a terrace. Yeah, that's on me. Yeah, go for it.
That's really good.
Oh my god, you guys are so funny.
So, steering the conversation, actually,
Yes, go ahead.
weirdly enough, this tangent did
This turned
go...
into Drink Champs real quick.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned stretching and stretching yourself as an artist, and it's interesting because that is terminology. Ahmad and I are both actors, among other things that we do, and that's terminology that's used in acting all the time. A stretch role.
Thespians.
Which is like a role outside of your usual comfort zone, maybe outside of your typecasting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Ahmad asked that question because I've always, we went to an arts high school and
These niggas went to LaGuardia.
We did, yeah, LaGuardia High School, and
These are the fame kids.
Nice.
my brother went as well. He was a visual arts major as well, and the art majors Well, I've always been in awe of all the other majors. Like I've been in all of the
Same.
instrumentalists. I'm in all of the tech majors. I'm in all of the dance majors. Anything that like I'm not there for, I'm like, wow, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Right.
But the art majors, like if there was one thing that I wished I could do besides like learn how to play piano, which you can learn, I was like, I wish I could like draw. Like I like if I
Anyone
could
can
just,
draw,
I'm sure I can, and I have to work at it like anything else. But it's like,
Exactly.
it's just the people who can just open up a sketch pad and in 5 minutes they have this detailed portrait of like some superhero or whatever. Like I'm like, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
That took work. The
Yeah.
same way you can just bust out a whole scene. I also work as a makeup and hair artist. That's
Okay.
Yes, you did. You did the Hollywood Reporter with Jarrell Jerome, who went to high school with us.
What?
He did.
Nigga did his research.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did.
Jerome,
Yes,
he was-
I love that
he-
shoot.
he
That was the next
graduated-
generation suit.
He
Yeah,
graduated 2015, and we were 2016.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jarrell Jerome as currently seen in Full Circle
Virgo.
on
And Virgo.
Yes.
I'm a
Yeah,
Virgo.
Yeah, where he plays like a giant.
That's he plays
13,
you.
13 foot.
Oh shit.
He is. You are definitely like half. Yes, you are. Wow. Jesus
No, but that's on
Think
Hulu,
about this
right?
though. Me and Steph Curry are the same height. Think about that though.
Wait. Steph Curry is 6.
He's he's 6'3". I'm 6'4".
I thought he
He's
was
a short
6 feet.
basketball
Wait, no, that's Michael Jordan. Anyway, sorry.
Jordan 6'6". So think about that.
To say that's short for a basketball player. Yeah.
Honestly, yes. And I was so
But it
surprised.
depends.
You know,
Right.
I think they need a 5-footer on the court.
well,
Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues. Yes, they did. Muggsy
5'3".
Wow.
Little man.
Wow.
Brah, I be going between like
breaking knees.
fucking cutting people.
Where's Gia? Where's Gia breaking kneecaps?
You should see me getting through a crowd
I'm sure it's all elbows.
I
and
get it.
pinching people.
Not pinching people. That's why.
She a bartender in New York City for 20 years. She had to pinch
let's,
niggas.
So let's rewind. Actually, let's talk a bit about that. 20 years as a bartender in New York. How many bars did you work at?
I know that was an
Any horror
experience.
stories? I'm sure.
So many epic, amazing stories. So many horror stories. I worked at the 40/40 for a long time.
Jay-Z's
40
club.
I was
Oh.
one of the top bottle service girls on 25th Street.
Oh, excuse
Get out
me.
of here. Come on.
You know.
Come on now.
Worked at a bunch of other places. I worked at the coffee shop. I don't know if you ever got to hang out there. It was on 16th and Union Square West.
Oh, that one. That's funny.
Yeah.
Me and my mom used to go
Coffee
there all the
shop.
time, and I called it the girls because a lot of women worked there. And
Yeah. It was all
I'm-
like braless, good-looking
yeah.
women, just kind of
I'm
like,
like-
what do you want?
I'm like, and this is honestly between the ages
Give
of
me your
like
money.
4 and 6.
That's what we did.
It was horrible, actually.
We would tell the bar.
Your first awakening, you was like,
It was like the first step to my awakenings. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
horrible.
That's crazy.
oh my goodness. So
Yes. Sorry. You were.
But
Say.
well, again, like, you know, a lot of people, it's the same. A lot of people in the arts and the theater, acting, do hospitality.
Yeah.
And for me, I got to the point where I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna take this as content. So for me, it was like a lot about shifting perspective. So instead of being like sick of a job and being like, oh, I can't wait to get out of this and not do this anymore, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna milk this shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I'm gonna take this content and I'm gonna transform it into my creative powers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and in a similar way with actors, I'm sure Ahmad can speak to this a bit too. Part of what makes you a better actor, I believe, is accruing more human experience. Right. I mean, that's what we draw from.
That's what it is. You just the chef's kiss, human experience.
Yeah, and so you do that by talking to people, by having different kinds of jobs. But like right now, I'm working as a teacher, a substitute teacher, and I'm leading like it's basically like summer school, but it's more like summer camp, and I'm like the academic part of summer camp in the morning.
Okay.
So the kids come in 8 to 12. I do
How old are
ELA.
they?
These are ongoing fifth graders.
Oh my God, that's the best age
You think
because
so?
they're not jaded yet.
Right. Yeah.
And they're still kind of like, you could still
they're a little
infiltrate.
malleable. Absolutely.
You could still like infiltrate their brains. Like, yo,
Yeah.
you could be like a dope creative. Like, you
Right.
could be an asshole.
No, you're absolutely. That is
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like I still remember. I have like emotional memories of like first and second grade, but I remember that I remember fourth and fifth grade. I remember I didn't like my fourth grade teacher. I remember fifth grade going into middle school and the beginning of all that. And you know there are challenges with every age group. With fourth and fifth, it's like they are starting to solidify what their personality is going to be for the next few years. So it's one of those first, like, I think I know everything. I know how the world works ages, and you have to remind them that they do not. And you still have to handle them with kitty gloves. But putting all that aside, that's an experience that I have that, like, I can draw from. So I respect hearing that it's much the same for you as a visual artist.
Yeah.
Did you ever run into AOC while you were doing bartending?
AOC Sandy was what we called her.
Oh.
She was one of my bar wives.
I
Yeah.
was making a complete joke.
No, we used to work together.
Why the
That's
fuck you ain't tell me this?
Crazy.
She
I know you
actually.
for 10 years. You don't tell me this?
You knew I worked with Sandy.
No, I did not.
What?
No.
Oh my God.
Sandy, come on the show.
Sandy, come
Come
on
on
the
to the
show.
show, Sandy.
That's all.
Jesus.
Greatest
And I-
podcast.
wait,
And I will
Wait.
tell you, and I will
Hold
tell
on,
you, and I will tell you,
Yes.
working with, and I'll just say Sandy because I can't call her like AOC. Working with Sandy
Go for it.
was dope because I was, again, working, I was only there part-time and I was working, teaching in different after schools,
Yeah.
right? And most of my practice is in like, our underserved communities. So I was not touching privileged charter schools. I was strictly in the hoods.
Got you.
And
That's what she's
you know,
about.
and she like really admired that. And like, you know, at our shifts we would really talk about social justice, and you know, we would talk about how we were so over the hospitality industry and just kind of like,
The shady shit, the messy dudes.
the wonder breadness
The
of
wonder
things,
breadness,
and
yeah.
just kind of being like, just and kind of thinking, right? Because you're in the service industry and you don't want to feel stuck, and you're like, what else do I have going on in my life?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like always art. So I was like, that's just how I make money and how I get content, whatever. But she was thinking about running for Bernie, and she did it, and we all supported her, and there she is, and then
Who knows? Who knows?
look
what's
at her
next?
climbing.
now, and look at
She
her
is
now.
climbing.
Right. You could be painting her presidential portrait one
Come
day.
on.
Man.
Why did you call her Sandy?
Huh?
Why'd you call her Sandy?
I guess.
Well,
short
her
for
name's Alexandra, but
Oh.
we already had an Alexandra working there, so we used to
Valid.
call her Alex, so we would call Alexandra
Sandy.
Sandy.
Okay.
That was her name.
I thought it was because she reminded y'all of Shorty from SpongeBob. That's
No,
why I thought
no,
this
no.
whole
Oh my
time.
gosh, she's so gorgeous.
Cheeks.
No, the voice.
And
the
she
voice,
was
the voice.
and she was like a tequila expert too. So we used to talk politics, social justice, and tequila.
This
What's
is
her tequila
fascinating.
game? Like her ability to mix tequila with cocktails?
Oh yeah, like somebody had given her like a trophy or a customer. I don't know. It was such a fun place to work. I have
sure.
to be
Where
honest
was
with
it?
you. It was now it's a Chase Bank, but
Damn.
But it was on 16th and Union Square West.
Okay.
Oh, the coffee
right.
shop.
Yeah,
Coffee
yeah.
shop.
It was
gotcha,
there. It
gotcha.
was like a New York like 90s icon.
Is bartending? Is that like a?
I love
is
it. It's,
that
it-
like-
it's an art in itself. Like I still here and there pop up and I do like cocktail menus.
Yeah. So that's I was gonna ask. Is it a thing where like if you need to use it or lose it, or do you feel like it's always there?
It's another muscle to
Okay.
flex. Boom.
That's dope. That's dope.
And it's another art, right? Like if you treat what I figured out, what makes life easier, right? Because I've been through the grunt, and we all have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I treat everything like art or like some kind of art game, it makes life more fun and more interesting, and it makes the reward that much sweeter.
Mm.
So even like from doing my laundry to like dishes, like I'll time it, or like from bartending, I'm like, okay, like I'm in it. Like I'm not like, I gotta do this shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, I'm here, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You're like a
Working on being
samurai with
present.
it.
You gotta be a little bit of like a samurai in this life. I figured out. I mean, I've been single and I just kind of had to fend for myself a lot. So I figured out
How to survive.
how to survive.
It's
How to survive with a smile.
yeah, yeah. I just to your point about doing the work that you need to do. It's like my dad says, doing what you need to do so you can do what you want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
when it comes to, I've been thinking a lot about how like there are so many jobs in our culture, and this is probably just a symptom of capitalism, that like are transitory, right? Like you could be a bartender for 20 years, and that's not, from the outside, I think that's not a job that people look at as like a career. They're like, oh, you're
But
bartending right now, but eventually you'll do something
It
else.
is a career, and people sleep on bartenders, and I'm like, I used
They
to
make
be.
buku money.
They
Yeah.
do
First
make
of all-
buku money.
First of all, and to have the mental capacity.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Like, I won't be behind a bar for fucking 5 years, and I'm like, you know what? I need to pick up a few bucks.
You come,
I'm saving
come
for
right back
something.
to it.
It all comes back. It's a Rolodex.
Yeah.
But to have that brain power to hold massive amount of drink orders and execute in a way and remember shit and
Yeah.
deal with money all at once.
And
Pe-
talk
what-
to people.
So
Yes.
and deal with people and with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
So when people talk shit about bartenders, I'm like, you're a fucking hater because you don't even have half the brain space.
I really don't.
Yeah.
You know how Israel makes it mandatory for everyone to go to the military? I feel like in the U.S. They should
Everyone
make
should
it.
bartend.
Everyone should work in the hospitality
That's
Oh.
a
for at
fact.
least a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that way, when you go outside, you don't fuck around and find out
Because you know how
Right.
to deal with people.
because you know how
I
to
think
deal
that's
with people.
100%. I worked at TJ Maxx for a little over a
It
year.
boggles
and a
me.
half.
I'm like, yo, people with degrees and good credit, how do you forget to act when you go to a bar?
Yeah, or go to a store to buy something.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with your customer service rep.
Wait, what's
Yes.
your TJ Maxx story?
Oh, I mean, who knows? There were, TJ Maxx is one of those places that has like recurring customers because
Yes.
of like the
boy.
deals and the cheap, whatever. And if they have the credit card, then they're looped in. So you would just get like your regular characters. And there was some lady, we called her Miss Brown because she wore a lot of brown clothes, but she was a white woman. And she would come in, if we were closing at 11, she was there at 10:45 with 15 returns. Online returns too. So you couldn't just find them in the store. You got to pull out the receipt. You got to scan for the system. You got to
There
check
was
to
no
see
way
if
to
it's-
be like, bitch, no.
There was there were some managers who would come out and essentially
Like,
do
nah,
that.
actually, you wildin'.
Yeah, who would say like I think sometimes they have to be like you can't do this. But there's stuff like that and just the entitlement.
It's the entitlement. It's the entitlement. That's the word I was looking for.
It's the lack of understanding that this person isn't just like an NPC in this part of your day. They have a life outside of you and this, right? So
And they gotta
like,
deal
treat
with
them
your shit.
respect. And I was just texting these guys about how like I'm someone who, part of how I was raised and just my temperament in general, like in any sort of, interaction like that, I try to be polite. So I go into a supermarket, I say hello, and like they bring up my stuff.
Yeah.
And not everyone does that. I say hi to bus drivers, thank you to bus drivers. 9 times out of 10, they ain't thinking about
Yeah.
me.
Right.
And sometimes you're like, man,
No one
maybe I
says
should just
hi.
start being mean. But
No,
then-
don't ever do that. I do the same thing. I had people actually look at me in the face and be like, why the fuck are you so
Are you
fucking
saying
happy?
hi to me?
Why the fuck are you smiling?
Jesus
I
Christ.
swear to God. I
What
can't
went
even-
on in their life that
No,
day?
honestly, no. They do be like, what the fuck
That's
you so
happened to me
positive for?
That's happened to me several times in my life, and I just go like this, and I changed purses today, but I always carry a little Palo Santo in my purse,
I know that's right.
and that's my first response. I just light it and I go like that, and I fucking
That's that negative energy
Spirits
trying to
be
come
gone.
at you. Yes.
I'm
No.
like,
We need to get you.
Honest?
We need to get you a vial of holy water. Just go.
I told my friend I was gonna get a spray bottle, like I spray the cats. She was like, "Do not do that."
You might confuse some people long enough
She's
to,
like,
to
"You're
make a
gonna
quick
get
getaway.
beat up. Just don't fucking go walk around spraying people."
You
Say 'em up.
you definitely have a point when it comes to everybody going a year is like working in hospitality because, well, working at Equinox.
Oh,
I
yes.
so
I can only
I
imagine.
I work as a group fitness instructor, but I always say hello to the front desk people. So whenever you go into the gyms,
It's a nice way to start the.
it's a nice way to start today. You have people at the front desk saying hello, good morning to you, have a good workout. But the thing that people get, they will always get the utmost. People will just hit them with the nod, don't say anything, or they'll go up to them. They don't say hello, good morning. They'll be like, how can I fix my app on some shit? And if I'm there with the front desk people, I go, good morning.
Yeah.
I don't say anything. I don't answer a
Yeah.
fucking question. I said, good morning. She's like, what? I said, it's 7 a.m. and you want to ask about your app and you don't say good morning? Good morning. And so she just backs off on me and then just walks away. I'm like, just say good morning.
That's
Treat
so
these people like
awkward.
people. And they always want to
It's
feel
like
like
you're
they are the
invisible.
problem when
Yeah.
it comes to a certain situation that is going on with their lives or their app or something that's going on with the gym.
It's like their world is like no one else matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they treat you like trash. Now, for you as a bartender, I'm pretty sure people have said some negative shit to you
Oh,
all the time.
totally.
But it's like, motherfucker, I could
But
make your
you know
shit strong
what?
as hell,
Exactly.
and you would die.
Be
Okay.
sweating. Put like 7 shots of tequila.
I'm like, you just don't treat people that have anything that you're gonna ingest.
Oh,
like
dude,
that.
my
Yeah.
my.
I
girl-
mean, I'm not evil.
no, but
It's not my
good
fault
principle.
if something happens to you.
Exactly.
Karma served
Exactly.
your ass.
Yeah, my girl's
'Cause you're karmic.
grandfather used to be a cook. He worked as a cook in restaurant service, and he would always say that like anytime someone sent a plate back, somebody would spit in the plate. So that's why if she
crazy.
gets something at a restaurant to this day,
She not sending that back.
she's just gonna deal with it because she's not trying to have that situation
No,
occur.
and you do it so much, but you know the good thing is like I feel like everything in life happens for a reason, and I definitely went through some fucking back busting days.
I'm sure.
That I'm so grateful for because it gave me a tough skin and it really
Right.
helped me to
Builds character.
It builds that's it. It builds character and then it makes you more cautious of what's and who you get involved with.
Yeah.
And you know.
Right.
So I have another art question for you. I have a lot that are
Sure.
popping up in my head as we talk. We got some more time left here. But one that I prepared was I'd like you to tell us about the We Art One collective and how they came across you. What are they?
Oh, We Art One is amazing. So I'm part of this artist collective based in Yonkers.
Okay.
So I moved in there this past March, but I've been working with the artists that live there or that are centered there for years.
Gotcha.
But it's a beautiful collective. We're a collective of painters, photographers, multimedia artists, based out of this beautiful building, like an old, like kind of church school building in Yonkers. And it's so nice, like honestly, like getting out of the city and getting there. Like I connected with the woman that's running it, Patty.
Okay.
And then Yasmin, who's also a good friend of mine and another artist. She's been having a studio there for a while. So when I went to go visit her, I was just like, this is such a breath of fresh air. Getting out of the city. Like, I love the city. I'm a city girl, but like I'm a nature girl.
I know
Like,
that's right.
you can find me at the beach. You can find me in the woods. I like hiking. I like all that shit.
Yes.
Like the minute I can, I'm out, you know. But, you know, in the city, I do the thing. So it's actually been really wonderful because I live in East Harlem's.
Yeah.
I'm on the east side, so I just want, the minute I'm on that Metro North, I'm like,
It is nice. I remember when I started getting acquainted with the Metro North.
well, you guys
also
gotta
going to
come
Yonkers.
over soon.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
down.
Studio visit soon.
Absolutely.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm there right now.
A Yonkers Day. We need a Yonkers Day.
Yeah, a Yonkers Day.
And then we'll go to Westchester for wine.
Oh, listen. Look, I'm down. Listen, you let me know. I'm on the
It's the
first
wine
train out.
connoisseur over here.
I love my wine.
We outside. But We Art One is amazing. I am so grateful for this nonprofit. They're doing so much. Like we're doing sip and paints,
Yes.
community events for like mental health. Like there's so much support for the arts in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a travel destination you like to go work at, but also, of course, just to visit? But I'm sure you want to get some art in while you go travel.
Yeah, so I'm Colombian, like I mentioned.
Viva
and-
Colombia.
Viva Colombia. And I haven't been in a very long time, so my next mission is to hit my country and hit a wall
Yes.
and drop some work. And then I'm also actually working on doing some sustainable fashion.
Oh,
Fire.
interesting.
Come on,
We love
sustainable
sustainable
fashion. Okay.
Yeah, so looking
No more
to
of those
spread
dumps
that.
over there that have sheen all
No.
over it.
No more sheen. No more sheen.
No more Sheen. Some of y'all going to be upset about that.
Y'all gonna be real upset,
let
but
them
fuck y'all.
let them be upset.
Yeah.
They'll be okay.
Yeah.
Everyone
Now-
will be okay.
Now, Gia,
Yes.
I would love to talk to you about how my mom would love the Purple Rain hat that you designed.
Ooh. Oh my God, that just took me like.
I saw it and I said my mom would rock that hat.
That just like really warmed my heart because honestly, like I was looking and all those like hats, those are all recycled wires that I did like that.
Really?
And I haven't visited those hats in such a long because I was like, oh, I'm gonna make more, and then I got busy with other stuff. But the fact that you brought up that hat, like we can make that happen. Absolutely.
I
want her to have it.
I see. Literally, her birthday was 2 weeks ago.
Aww,
And she just
happy
turned.
Birthday, your mom.
Happy birthday, Brenda.
Happy birthday, Brenda.
Brenda.
Yes, mama.
Hey, Brenda.
Yes.
Purple rain.
Come on now. I know that's. To see
That's Jude's favorite. That's your favorite
Yes.
Super Bowl performance.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
Crying during that?
The best.
Yeah.
Yes. In the rain.
In the
In
rain.
heels.
In the
Top,
rain.
top two, and it's not two.
Like you can't make that shit up.
You really can't. You really can't.
No.
Like he said.
That
they
was a
said,
magic moment.
Forecast said it's gonna rain. Prince said.
And,
And
Okay.
he said,
He said,
okay.
"Yeah, I know.
I
I'm
know.
making that happen."
Like this gonna fit so well for today.
I'm singing.
He was
Purple
like,
Rain. Are you?
perfect.
How
Are you
do I have to
dumb?
break this down for you.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I'm a big waffle for Charlie Murphy after this.
Fuck your couch, nigga.
Yeah, I think the idea of going to Colombia, going to your hometown, and leaving a mark there is great. Now, you were born there. How long did you live there? If very long before you left?
I was born in Barranquilla,
Okay.
and then I came here when I was a kid.
En Barranquilla me quedo.
Eso.
Yeah, it's a good song.
But yeah, like I mostly grew up here. You know, I would go some summers, visit grandma, but now I'm eager to go back and like beyond, like, you know, that'll be obviously because I'm gonna be back on homeland. But my idea is to do what I do here in South America,
Yeah.
starting with my country and then like moving out, like working with local youth and local communities, and like let's do a wall together.
That's
And
great.
then that way the kids gain art skills, and then they can see that there's work beyond.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I remember a few years ago, my brother, I don't know how he knew about this, but he took me to the unveiling of the mural right on 125th and Old Broadway of Malcolm X and Yuri Kochinow, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, that's a dope piece.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about this woman, this Japanese woman that worked with Malcolm X and was, civil rights activist. They had, so they had the unveiling, they had like a discussion about it, and there were a few like original Black Panther Party members who were there also, kind of leading the conversation. So I think obviously murals are a great way to not only bring the community together, but to inform the community.
What a dope brother you have.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. He's cool.
Salud.
We got to have him on the show too. At
We
some
do.
point.
Salud.
Excuse me.
The cats?
It's probably the cats. On that note, is there anywhere in America that you've not yet worked, even outside of the city? I mean, I know, for example, this is a place in the city. There's a New York Poets Cafe, and they're actually about to shut down for a few years for a massive renovation, which is long overdue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether it's like being part of something like that, where an old community landmark is being refurbished and renovated and given new life, or is there, if you ever want to get like out of New York but stay in the country, or any parts of the country you want to touch?
I'd like to get out of New York. For sure. Like there's places I'd like to hit in New York, and there's neighborhoods I haven't been into, and like other mural circles I'm not like really a part of. And
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like a need to expand beyond. Obviously I'd be open to more work in New York, but I feel like I want to broaden my horizons. Like I find the Southwest very attractive.
Like Austin?
Like New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Like
Arizona.
that landscape, like desert, like cactus, like like the broad open, like maybe hit Colorado.
Yeah.
Like I went to Utah like a couple of years ago, and I fell in love. Oh my God, just like mountains everywhere. I was just like losing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, I never felt more like such a city kid.
Yeah.
You know, because for me, it's like,
for
you know, I'm
real.
a New Yorker, right? What do? We go to Miami, we go to Puerto Rico, we go to the Caribbean.
Go to DR.
We go to the Caribbean,
to
right?
the
So we're
Caribbean.
like, all right, the city, the palm trees and beach. But when
Exactly.
you're out in the mountains,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a whole
different.
other
It's a different
vibe.
story.
Yeah, when I was in Mexico, when I did the Knowles trip, and I was in Santa Monica, California first, and I looked out into the ocean. I was like, I want to look at that for a month.
Right?
I want to look at just nothingness for a
So
month.
magical.
I get there, nothing. It's water and sky,
Yeah.
and it's stars everywhere. It
Yeah.
was
That
a
must have been
fucking
so
trip.
trippy.
Yeah,
It would've
it's-
been a
it's-
trip.
There is so much, you know, and
There's
the
so
state of
much
the
to
world
see.
is crazy, obviously in a lot of different ways, but there is so much natural beauty. I even think about like I have this recurring kind of fantasy of going to Seattle and like being in
Seattle's
the
dope.
Pacific Northwest and seeing the massive trees. And I'm not like an outdoorsy person at all, but just to stand in the woods.
It's wild. Like
see the
I
trees
think
around
it's
you?
so important. Like, you know, I'm within walking distance to Randall's Island. And that's honestly like my refuge.
Yeah.
Like I go there before a really busy day. Like I just get my ass over there, do my little run, and I
Calms you
sit
down.
there. And it calms me down. And I can look at the madness, and you see the ducks and like all the beautiful flowers. And
The
you're
horses over there.
it just kind of, you know, I feel like you got to take that, even if it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or like even that trip, right?
Absolutely.
Just to kind of bring you back home. Because it kind of brings you back, like, you're like, I was worried about what? Like, this
Yeah.
shit is huge.
Yeah.
Like, this
And-
shit can, like, eat me up in 1 minute.
Yeah,
Like,
and it might in some ways. I mean, you know, people experience leaving. People from New York who leave New York have different levels of, you know, homesickness. I might be going to Arizona for a brief trip later this year, and I'm looking forward to that.
have you
But
thought about leaving New York?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to think, oh, I'll live here forever. I'll raise my family here, whatever. But as the city has changed and as I've seen and done more things, I'm like, I'm okay with my kids.
Quality of living.
Like, and it is exactly what you said of like being outside. Now, I wouldn't mind staying close to New York, especially for some of my contacts and as long as my family is here as well. But like being close enough to get in and close enough to get right back out
Yeah.
when you need to is like, that's my new ideal situation. I don't know if that's Jersey, if that's Poughkeepsie. I don't know where that is, but
My brother did, what did he do? He did, fucking, what's it called? The Poconos. That was my brother's move.
yeah.
Oh, the Poconos.
Yeah.
Poconos. I mean, there's lots, and you're not. No, there is no place like New York, but that's
Yeah.
okay. Like every place is its own thing.
We don't
Yeah.
need the whole
Well,
everywhere looking like New York. we
I'm
don't need
grateful
that.
for the New York that I lived. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
tried,
you got
like,
to see it in like the heyday.
So in the
I mean,
90s.
there was still craziness going on, but
Of course.
yeah, like I had fun.
Yeah.
Like I had fun. Like there were things that we used to do that you just don't do anymore. And like, I just have like a treasure trove. Like I thought about it. Cause the more I've thought about like leaving, sometimes I'm like, but I'm like, let's leave that like in that beautiful place. Obviously, right? Cause that's the thing about New York too. Cause it's ever evolving.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be New York City if it stayed the same.
right.
For real.
I sort of well, I was right in the mic. So sorry y'all. So I always think about this at times, and my mom, her and I would have these conversations and stuff. She was like, "Man, I wish you were like your age in the '90s," and I said, "No, I wouldn't. I would be a problem.
Yeah.
I feel like
It would have been a damn demon.
we all would
nigga.
be a problem."
That's why
in
I
the
don't. I didn't grow up
90s.
in the
I'm
'70s.
in a-
I would have been a damn fucking.
I would have been
problem.
a problem, okay? With all the '90s R&B songs that were just dropping, the hip
Ahmad
hop
would've been a
songs that
father
were
by now.
dropping, the club
Ahmad would have been my
life.
father.
You would have been like great grandfather.
Ahmad would have been my dad somehow through the
Damn.
paradox.
Listen now.
That's a funny universe.
Fucking H-Town would have been dropped in 1993 talking about knocking boots.
Nah.
I'd have been all up on that motherfucker,
Mine would have been
okay?
like DMX and the Rough
Please.
Riders, but some
Please.
genuine and shit.
Come
You
on
know?
now. So for people that I see that have lived in the 90s, like have had their life in 90s, I just be like, wow. I just say wow.
Envious. 'cause
But you know, it was like right, like it was like the knocking the boots was like different versus
Yes.
like all this shit that I could get down with some of the music that's like coming down now, but it's like, you know, it was like there was like innuendo.
Yeah.
There was like that like little like
If you know, you know.
if
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, girl.
Now with the 90s, like when it comes to it, there weren't I don't know, like try to correct me if I'm wrong, there weren't really a lot of murals in Harlem. Mostly graffiti.
I was like a kid growing up. I would say like for me like early 90s, I was like in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't really come up in like doing my art until like early 2000s here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, but there was always graffiti. I mean, graffiti's been around forever.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think there was definitely like some street art. And I know some companies, but I really feel like street art started blowing up, like definitely like more like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But it was always around. I mean, you can't even like put a timeline on it.
Yeah.
Because people have been doing it forever since like the days of graffiti, like Haring was doing, you know, Haring wasn't necessarily a graffiti artist, but he was doing like street art. And so was Basquiat.
Yeah,
So a bunch of people.
I think one of the big moments of maturation for me was being able to distinguish between like, you know, you see like these little like black spray paint tags everywhere that don't mean
Right.
anything, but when you see like actual graffiti, like when you see the mural in actually the school that I work at in the school year, Central Park East 1, it's in the Jackie Robinson Educational Complex, and they have that mural in the playground on 106 and
With
Park
the dome?
toward Park.
Yeah.
No, it's fenced in.
I'm thinking about Jackie Robinson Park. I'm tripping.
Yeah, yeah. It's a school building with different schools inside of it, but the playground has like on the inside and the outside. It's lined, you know, with.
I
artwork.
think my friends did that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and I think like that is obviously this, you know, that's street art, that's mural work at its highest.
Yeah.
at its
I mean, when
level.
people pick up a can and do a little tag, that's exactly what it is.
Right.
You know, or they bomb someone's piece,
Right.
which is unfortunate because
Yeah.
it's like people put so much work into this
Or
detail.
you know what I was thinking about when I said 5 points? The more recent tragedy was what is it? 181st
Oh my God.
train
I
station.
hate
Oh
that.
yes.
They painted
yes.
that whole thing over?
And so
It
they
was
painted
garbage.
over it and they put a call out for artists
Right.
to apply to paint in there.
Yeah.
And you know, my friends, you know, I'm grateful for my friends on Instagram and all that. You know, and people send you opportunities, but I'm like,
You know. Yeah.
it's like
It's weird.
I'm like, no, I'm not.
It's like going to a graveyard.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. It's like
Defiling a corpse.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not touching that. I'm like, they should have left that alone. The city has so much shit to do. I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Not,
And that's the
you're
one
not
thing that you're
doing-
worried about is a wall.
Not
Yeah.
doing anything to help the
In a
people who
tunnel.
camp out
In a
there.
tunnel.
Word.
That hurts you real
Like,
bad.
let it be.
You're just making it a brighter place for them to go and shoot up and, you know,
There you
pass
go.
out and do it. Like it's anyway.
It's
Not even a piece of darkness.
As we close, I always like to end on a positive note. So I've come up with some this or that questions for
Okay.
you. Just 3 really quick ones. We do this for most of our features guests. If we didn't do it for you, I'm sorry, but I think we have done it for everyone. So I've got 3. I'm sure you're a fan of sangria because you're a fan of wine. Oh, you're not.
No.
Okay. I was gonna ask you sangria white or red, but
If I have to, red.
yeah. But you
Like,
don't.
if I have
right.
to go there, I'm going to go there.
You're gonna go there. What is it about sangria that you don't?
It's a little too sweet.
Oh, you okay?
She likes a bitter taste.
More of a bit. Well, 20 years of bartending that'll do it.
I like it to, like,
Yeah.
Hit you.
Right.
just enough.
Mm.
Okay, so
Like
then
that.
in that case, let me switch it up.
Like a Muhammad Ali jab. Like a pop.
So like,
All right, I'm here.
so like whiskey or tequila.
Tequila.
Okay,
Mezcal or tequila.
Ooh.
tequila, right?
Mezcal.
Thank
Really?
you.
Do you
Let's go.
Do you eat the worm if it's presented?
Absolutely.
It's a real nigga.
Do you know what
right
I
here.
learned? When I came back from Mexico, I learned that Mexico is the only. Mexico basically has trademarked the word tequila. So
Hell as they should.
You can't. If you
Wow.
make it outside of Mexico, you have to call it mezcal.
Tequila
I think
or
you
mezcal.
can't call it tequila.
Oh
Call it
shit.
love
mezcal,
that.
or you have to call it
Because
like
all
blue agave
tequila
or
is
something.
really mezcal.
Oh.
But yeah, you
Tequila
can't.
is born mezcal, and then it's made into a tequila.
The more you know, goddammit. Thank you, Gia, for telling me.
You're welcome.
Running back to your 90s upbringing, you know, you're out on the streets, you're partying, you're bartending, you're clubbing, whatever. But let's say you come home at the end of the night, you got your mixtape. Who you want to hear first, Aaliyah or Selena?
Why would you ask that? Gangster.
Yes.
I was about to say that's a hard
Ooh,
question.
that's a hard one. It depends. Or I might be like, I could. I don't know.
There are
what
two
mood
different
I'm-
kind of moods.
I don't
guess.
know what kind of mood I'm in. I could be like, if you're a man, only you.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or I could be like, I could fall in love.
Yeah. Two different moods. If you want to be a hot girl or you want to be a sad girl.
Yes.
No sad girls.
I guess like lovey girl.
It's the summertime.
Right.
Summertime.
We've been sad
Tender.
for
I
a
would
while.
call Selena tender.
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 Tender girl.
Yeah, tender.
Tender girl.
Tender girl summer.
Yeah,
Tender girl.
Tender girl summer.
Tender girl, stay off of Tinder.
Stereotypical
Right.
girl staying off of Tinder.
I'm on some like tough tender girl summer.
Right. Like a good steak.
Like a good steak.
They don't fuck with me, but if you nice, like all right, like let's go.
We'll have a conversation. My last one might be somewhat basic, but I'm curious. Murals or sculptures?
Sculptures.
Sculptures are the thing that trip me up the most because
This
I
is
don't
a-
get how you look at a block of something and then say, I'm going to cut it this way and this way and
Well,
this way.
you know, I don't do traditional sculpture, which I guess
Oh.
is another medium I would like to like foray in. But
You
like
work more with
I do
wire work, right?
Bro, it's fire.
I do mold making
Okay.
and you know, I do more assemblage, so I work with a lot of found material.
Got it.
Like a lot of the woodwork I have is like tree branches that I've rescued from the projects after bad storms, and I take them back and I clean them up and I put them together.
Got you.
And I add fabric, and I just like go at it. Like I have a vision, I don't know what it is, but I gotta get it out.
Yeah.
But I like 3-dimensional. So I think I started.
I like that.
Yeah, I like getting around. I like
A full 360 view. of
right,
the- of the thing.
and I you know, and I think it adds to the experience of the viewer, like just getting around and sort of finding their own interesting spaces within what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find them more fun. For me, I want the opportunity to create like giant things.
I'm sure
A
that
giant sculpture.
opportunity is on its way.
The first step
From
was
your
that
lips
mural.
to God's ears, yeah.
Gentlemen, anything else from you?
I love you, Jude.
I love you too, Gia.
Thanks so much for coming on, Gia.
Thank
Is
you
there
so much
anything
for
else
having me.
you would like to plug before you hop off?
All I want to say is that I just feel that I want to share a smile. And I want everyone to take a moment and just really reflect on what you've done in your life so far and be proud of yourself. And pat yourself on the back and know that you're doing the best that you can. And that whatever you really want in life, like, put your head down and fucking plow through, because you can make it happen.
Thank you. I mean,
And thank you for having me.
no further
Of
words
course.
needed. If you want more Uptown Love, you can find HBO on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and the Podbean app. Rate and review the show wherever you get it. It greatly helps us out. Please follow our lovely guest on Art by Gia.
And thank you,
Instagram.
Gia.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Deuces.
Yes. Be blessed.
Drink your water.
Wear your condoms.